This was Derby Day on Epsom Downs 2017. A truly thrilling race. 18 runners went to post, 6 from Ballydoyle, 4 horses in the ownership of Sheikh Mohammed, 5 from John Gosden. They thought they were bringing the best here, but none of us really knew which was the best. That was the intrigue going into the Investec Derby 2017. You can see it now as part of Racing Replay in company with all the other action from Epsom and a really good card from Musselburgh as well. Enjoy it, and enjoy it at your leisure.
Huge crowds, as always, lined the downs, both sides of the racetrack for Derby Day 2017. The Royal Standard proudly flew as Her Majesty, as always, graced the course with her presence. We're going a dried out since Friday. It was good to firm in places. The opening Investec private banking handicap over 1.25 miles saw an open market. Tartini was favoured at 7-2. Commentary at Epsom comes again from Simon Holt.
Ready to go for this first race, the Investec private banking handicap. They jump away from the stalls. Hajjaj just about the slowest into stride. In the early stages, Massam Star is going forward in the maroon and green jacket. Bristol Missile handy. So too Mr. Blue Sky in the red cap on the inside of the nose-banded Drockid. Then Tartini, who's out wide in the white colours, followed by M&M. The white blaze Hajjaj now relegates Desert Skyline to the rear of the field. Uphill through the early stages, and Massam Star taken on by Bristol Missile as they run into a long left-hand turn. Bristol Missile on the inside of Massam Star. Mr. Blue Sky taking the trail in third place. Drockid is 4. A gap of 2.5 lengths or so back to Tartini and Frankie Dettori in 5th place, followed by Hajjaj on the inside of M&M, and lastly Desert Skyline. On the descent now, the long descent towards Tatnam Corner. They've got about 6 furlongs to cover, and it's still Bristol Missile by about 3/4 of a length to Massam Star. A length away is Mr. Blue Sky on the inside of Drockid. They're chased by Hajjaj, the inner of Tartini, M&M second last, and lastly Desert Skyline. So running now towards the most famous turn in horse racing, Tatnam Corner, and it's Bristol Missile who's going to turn into the straight first. From in second place, Massam Star. Mr. Blue Sky back in third as they straighten up. After these, down the outside, Drockid in that noseband. Coming very wide under Frankie Dettori is Tartini. And then behind these is M&M and Desert Skyline at the back. Bristol's Missile still leads the way to Massam Star. Tartini trying to reel them back with Drockid and Mr. Blue Sky. Then Hajjaj and M&M and Desert Skyline, who's hanging down the camber a little. It's now Massam Star that's worn down Bristol Missile. Drockid on the attack, so too Tartini. Switching inside is M&M. Hajjaj had nowhere to go inside the final furlong. Drockid out in front. M&M is dashing up the rail. It's Drockid is collared by M&M, but Drockid may just have held on from M&M. Desert Skyline finishing well in third. Back in fourth, Tartini.
Drockid, Sheen Murphy, 11-2. M&M second, 9-2. Desert Skyline at 4-1 was third, and all 8 ran. It's rather a messy race, but Drockid was in the right place, responded well to pressure to lead, and then held off the late challenges. Those came primarily from M&M, who hung badly down the camber, but finished strongly and was only just denied. While third home, Desert Skyline, looked completely unsuited by the track, but eventually picked up in the home straight and finished to some good effect.
The opening day on Investec Derby Day has gone to Andrew Balding with Drockid. Many congratulations. What did you make as you were watching that?
I was always pretty happy, to be honest, because he was confident he'd see the trip out well, and Sheen always had him in the right place, and I think kicked at the right time. So no, I'm delighted. He's an improving horse.
She managed him really well, didn't he? He was a bit keen in the early stages, but he got him nice and settled.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he tends to do that, but he's he's a tough horse as well. He'll always keep finding, as he did at Chelmsford last time, but he's going in the right direction, as you'd hope from a master craftsman, and there might be more to come.
That battling quality really is all him, isn't it? As you said, we saw it at Chelmsford and he brought it again today.
Absolutely, and if you can have horses with hearts, that's half the battle.
Absolutely. Where might you go with him next?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we're working through the grades, still in handicaps, and we'll have a look. And I know there's a nice, valuable mile and a quarter handicap at the July meeting, which we might have a look at.
And is this a horse that you see being able to go beyond handicap company by the end of this season?
Well, possibly. Depends. If he'd stay a mile and a half, then I think there's every chance he would. So we'll see how we go, but I think we'll stay in handicaps for the time being.
Well done with this. Just a quick word about horseplay yesterday. She ran really well under very difficult circumstances, I think you'll agree, in yesterday's Investec Oaks.
Yeah, I was a little bit disappointed straight afterwards, but watching it again, I mean, it's blatant. She just didn't come down the hill as well as we'd hoped and expected, and but he couldn't pull her up until they almost hit the rail at the end. So I think there's a lot of encouragement from that point of view going forward, and hopefully she's going to be a force in group races over further.
Right, okay, so might you have something like the Park Hill or even the St Ledger in mind?
Yeah, or even the St Ledger, yeah. I think we'll probably work back from that and see, and if she manages to win a nice race between now and then, have a go.
Well, that's great. It's good that you've got something to plan forward with her, and also with Droghid. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you. The man who rode our first race with Droghid was Sheen Murphy. Congratulations. Tell me how the race went for you.
Yeah, Lydia, I know the horse well. I won on him as a 2-year-old, and he's a horse that's progressed in stages. He's quite big, and hopefully there's a little bit more to come. Look, we went down early to the start today. He's quite buzzed up, and I thought the atmosphere might get to him, so I requested that to Andrew, and thankfully we got him down there in one piece. Yesterday, Barocco went off favourite in what I thought, was a winnable race, and unfortunately he got spooked by the ITV Jeep going to post, and he bolted with me for 2 furlongs. And after a horse does that, it's very hard to get them to calm back down. Unfortunately, I fought with him for 10 furlongs yesterday. I got dragged down the rail. I had nowhere to go in the straight, but to be honest, if I moved, there was probably no horse left anyway. I mean, I literally was clipping heels for 10 furlongs. So we learned from our mistake, and everything went to plan today.
It can be a frustrating place, can't it, Epsom? I mean, the hubbub, the noise of it all, it puts a horse on edge. Then you've got the track itself, and you can get rough races. Yeah,
actually, I watched a few of the Oaks and Derbies over the last week or so, and like Ryan Moore got up the rail on Snow Ferry one year, but he saw that gap opening before it did, and like most jockeys, and especially me, I prefer to go outside rather than inside on a track like this. Yeah. They tend to roll down the camber. So just to everyone, who was supporting Barocco yesterday, apologies from my end, but that wasn't in my control.
Yeah. I'm sure they'll be listening to all that you had to say. We saw that the horse was very buzzed up beforehand, and clearly things can go wrong. But they went right today with Droghid, and he's a fighter, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a tough horse. He stuck his head out of Chelmsford the last day, Lydia. And fair play to Andrew. He nominated this race today. Last time he ran immediately after the race, so to plan races out like that takes somebody who knows the book inside out, and thankfully it paid off.
He's talking about that really good competitive 10 furlong handicap for 3-year-olds at the July meeting next. Do you think this horse has got some more improvement in him?
Yeah, you'd hope so. Look, he probably doesn't want rattling fast ground, Lydia, but as he straightens up and matures, ground mightn't be as important to him.
Okay. Looking ahead to the Derby, you said you've been watching some old Derbies. You're riding Ben Battle.
Yeah.
What do you make of his chances?
Yeah, look, he's a very, very good horse. I think his run in the Dante was fantastic. I think he's progressed. He's obviously progressed with each run because on ratings he has as well. He's stepping up to 12 furlongs. He's not guaranteed to stay. We don't have an ideal draw, but he's got to have a chance. I mean, on ratings he should be right up there with the favourite, and to get the leg up in a race like that from Saeed is fantastic, so I'm very grateful for the opportunity.
Now clearly this is a very good horse, but like I looked at the Dante, as I'm sure you had, and I just wondered whether the extra 2 furlongs was really going to be up his street.
Yeah, certainly. Look, he's got the hood on today, Lydia, and and if I can find a nice lot and get cover, and obviously Saeed will speak to me what he wants to do, but if we can get him to half or lax early, you never know what will happen in the business end.
Because he wasn't doing that at all in the early stages of the Dante, was he? Relaxing?
No, and obviously York is another place horse can get quite buzzed up, and probably with the experience under his belt will do him no harm as well.
Okay, well, very best of luck for that, and well done here.
Thanks, Lydia.
Thank you. Machine, thank you.
Princess Elizabeth Stakes of Group 3 was next. Laugh Aloud was the very warm favourite at 4-5.
That's it. And they're away. Pretty level break. Charbo driven along early. So too Crowning Glory next to the rail wants to get really handy. Does her rider Fran Berry, but it's Laugh Aloud who's showing lots of dash early on to lead, with Tis But a Dream now going up on her outside with the White Blaze and taking on the favourite here. Tis But a Dream heads Laugh Aloud. Absolute Blast close up in third on the outside. Then Crowning Glory having to settle back in fourth from Kilmar in the yellow and the blue and the yellow starred sleeves behind those. Urban Fox on the inside next, back in the field from Epsom Icon, and then Charbo, Silver Meadow and Silver Step is the back marker. They're pretty well strung out as they run down the hill. Tis But a Dream and Absolute Blast are 1 and 2. Laugh Aloud is third, then Crowning Glory on the inside. Out wider is Kilmar, Epsom Icon behind these, then Urban Fox round the inside as now they round Tattenham Corner with just under a half mile left to cover. Tis But a Dream by a length to Absolute Blast, who's now endeavouring to get right on terms with the leader. Laugh Aloud pulled out wide of the front pair, then Crowning Glory followed by Kilmar, Urban Fox, Epsom Icon, Silver Meadow, Silver Step further back and Charbo. Tis But a Dream and Absolute Blast. Laugh Aloud hasn't really been asked the big question yet by James Doyle, and here she comes breezing down the outside. Tis But a Dream on the far side, on the wide outside. Laugh Aloud comes through now to take it up. Absolute Blast battling on, but Laugh Aloud, she's away, she's clearing right away from them in a tremendous style here, and Laugh Aloud goes on to win again in excellent fashion, 5 lengths clear. Absolute Blast and Tis But a Dream fighting it out for second. Silver Meadow running on in fourth.
Laugh Aloud, James Doyle, the 5-4 on favourite. Absolute Blast was second at 8-1. Tis But a Dream at 12-1 was third. Non-runner 5 and 10 ran. And Laugh Aloud was unable to lead on this occasion, but it made absolutely no difference. She sauntered into the lead a furlong and a half out and quickly drew away in the style of a top-class performer. Royal Ascot beckons next. Absolute Blast and Tis But a Dream came into this in fine form. They set the pace and filled out the places, but like the rest of the field, they were just chasing a shadow.
Laugh Aloud was a very impressive winner of the Princess Elizabeth, and James Doyle was on her back. That was really quite something.
It was, yeah, it was an explosive performance. We spoke about it beforehand, myself and John, and she's a filly that has appreciated being in front, pricking her ears. I just think it's helped her sort of relax and settle down, whereas today there was a couple of front runners in there, and myself and John spoke about it. We said, look, if they are tearing away, then we'll just, as a result, they didn't, but Sylvester took a little time to cross, and I committed to kind of keeping her in behind, and it was nice that she settled so well. Pulled her into a bit of space, and she just took off. It was really impressive.
You never looked as though you had any trouble at all, really?
No, I mean, it's the old story here. They all rolled down to the fence, and I was following a horse that was an outsider that made the running, which wasn't ideal. So once I let them cross, I just eased her out, and that was the only moment's worry, is getting her in a bit of space. But I think she'd have won if I'd have kept her there, because she quickened up so well. And
can she make an impact at a higher level now, do you think?
I think so. I mean, talking to John, I think the Duke of Cambridge will be a nice race for her to go next, and then we'll see what happens after that. But she felt very good today.
She looked very good as well. Many congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Laugh Aloud has just been a very impressive winner with the Princess Elizabeth, and her trainer is John Gosden. Well, she looked pretty special at Goodwood, and she's repeated that here.
Yeah, she's got better and stronger with age, and she's learned to settle a little bit more in her mind, you know. And today we thought there might be pace, and she said, James said, well, let's just sit off it. I said, perfect, sit off it and let them fight it out and then come with a late run, which bodes well if we're going to Ascot, stiff mile. In the Duke of Cambridge, and therefore you don't have to be trying to make it. You can poise yourself handy.
So that will be the next step. Do you see in time this as being a horse that could go up into Group 1 level?
Well, I'm a great believer in one step at a time. So this is Group 3, that's Group 2. Now, if she happened to get lucky and win that, then we'll discuss the next step.
Well, she certainly does have a very impressive burst of speed.
Yeah, she does. She's a lovely filly. She's a sister to a horse I trained called Debussy, who won the Arlington Million. So it's a good family, proper stallion, but she's as wide as she's tall, you know. She's very strong now, and sometimes she comes out and she looks at the colts and says, "You look a bit weedy." Yeah.
And how about another very good filly of yours, How is Enable, after her spectacular success yesterday?
Super form. I couldn't believe it. She ate up last night, but I think it was impressive, and ran to the thunderstorm in a good time, and seemed very happy this morning. So we'll see where we want to go, but a nice little holiday now and freshen up. But I couldn't have been more pleased with her.
Have you watched the race again? Because she gets more impressive.
I did last night. It was a proper duel. It was fabulous. It was like a match race from the whole length of the straight, and what a fabulous filly the second is, with two very, very nice fillies. I mean, the third is no slouch, you know.
Betting for the Group 3 Diamond saw Folkeswood, a narrow favourite, at 130.
Oh, This Is Us makes up the line. They're all set to go for the Investec Diomed, and away. An awkward jump from Cool Company. Custom cut away strongly out wide of Folkeswood. The grey Sovereign Debt is handy towards the inside, followed by Ballet Concerto in the blue and yellow jacket. And then Oh, This Is Us, Cool Company and Gabriel in the noseband, and the grey silks at the back of the field. So Custom Cut sets off in front in the hands of Danny Tudhoe by a length and a half to Folkeswood and William Buick in second. Sovereign Debt is on the outside, a couple of lengths further back in third. Ballet Concerto towards the inside under Ryan Moore. Then Oh, This Is Us, Gabriel and Cool Company is last of the 7 runners as they begin the run downhill towards the home turn at Tattenham Corner. Custom Cut by a length to Folkeswood. Ballet Concerto, Sovereign Debt, Oh, This Is Us is held up towards the inside. Gabriel waited with as well, and Cool Company. So about to turn for home now as they enter the final half mile, and passing halfway in this Investec Diomed Stakes, and Custom Cut has made it all so far after a very bright start from the stalls. Folkeswood getting closer in second, within a half length for the leader now. Then Ballet Concerto's got lots of room at the moment up the inside for Ryan Moore. Switched out wider is Sovereign Debt. Then Oh, This Is Us, Cool Company and Gabriel. Heading down the home straight, Folkeswood. Custom Cut, that gap closing up on Ballet Concerto there. Then Sovereign Debt down the outside, running on strongly the grey. Gabriel with a run under Frankie Dettori. Oh, This Is Us is trying to angle out, and it's Sovereign Debt that leads the way. Sovereign Debt by a couple of lengths to Gabriel, and Oh, This Is Us giving chase inside the final furlong. Sovereign Debt, Gabriel getting closer. So too Oh, This Is Us, but Sovereign Debt wins again. What a winning machine this season. He holds on from Gabriel, and Oh, This Is Us, Cool Company back in fourth.
Sovereign Debt, James Sullivan 4-1, Gabriel second at 7-1, non-runner 6 and 7 ran. Oh, what a magnificent performer the 8-year-old Sovereign Debt is. He's in the form of his life in 2017. He carried a £5 penalty here, but he travelled well, picked up the leaders, and then fended off the challenges of the frustrating Gabriel, who just couldn't get by, hanging a bit, and also Oh, This Is Us, who didn't have the clearest of runs but finished well in a close third.
Ruth Carr is finding that these Group wins are like shelling peas with Sovereign Debt. He's tenacious, he's fantastic. It was a rerun of Sandown, wasn't it?
It was. He's just been so straightforward for us. He's an older boy. I found we can really kind of ride him wherever we want to in the race. Doesn't really need to be dropped out. He doesn't really need to be ridden for luck. He just keeps upping his game all the time for us, a 8-year-old.
It's amazing, isn't it? And to carry the penalty as well from Sandown to victory here, you must have been thinking this might be a step too far for him today.
I was coming prepared to be beaten today. £5 is £5. Weight stops trains. You know, he's giving that weight away to horses rated the same as him, and younger horses coming up through the grades as well. But you know, he's a real trier and he wants it.
He really does, and he's thriving at the moment. What's the key, do you think?
we're not really doing too much differently with him than we do with the rest of the gang. I don't put him out in the gang of 18 geldings together. That would be a bit nerve-wracking. He goes out in the field with a lowly rated gelding who looks after him, and they go out every morning and play. He does his work. We don't hammer him, but he does enough to keep himself fit and healthy, and he's a happy horse.
That's the keynote to your training, isn't it? How chilled they can be, and turning them out and letting them be relaxed.
Yeah, I'm probably obsessed about turning horses out. Mostly they'll even go out in the field on the morning that they run. We don't care that they're a bit muddy, a bit soily. Sometimes they have a few war wounds when their mates have been biting and kicking them. There's risks attached to turning horses out in a big gang, but the risks are outweighed by the benefits mentally and physically.
And you just find that they're happier horses as a result?
Yeah, they have a chance to be horses. I'm lucky I've got the facilities to do that. Not everybody can turn lots of horses out, but I can, so I'm lucky.
Seems to be working with, I'd say, wouldn't you?
Seems to be, yeah.
You've got to have to start about thinking about a Group 1 race for him, aren't you?
Yeah, after today, yeah.
Anything particularly take your fancy?
Well, I've been looking at the Group 2 at Ascot in July, where we didn't have a massive penalty, a smaller penalty than today, but I might have to rethink that now.
Yeah. And maybe the QE2 at the end of the year?
Possibly, yeah. You know, he's on a roll. He keeps coming up with the goods, so yeah.
He's deserving his places in these top class races, I think. Well, it's absolutely brilliant. So it's lovely for you it must be to have a winner on Derby Day.
It's very special, thank you.
Well, enjoy it very much. You deserve it, absolutely. Well done, Ruth.
Thank you.
Sovereign Debt has won another Group race, and the man on board is again Jimmy Sullivan. Many congratulations. What an amazing 8-year-old this horse is.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal. He does everything so easy. He seems to do it. He's such a professional and jumps out wherever you want him to be, and he's there travelling very well. And say when I asked him to go for home, he just took his head down and went for me.
What happened in this race? Were you always happy with your position?
Yeah, I was drawn too, and I was just the only thing I didn't want to be is on the rail. I just thought I wanted that option to go wide, and that was always my plan to go with a clear run, and it worked out perfectly. The two front runners went on and tracked them and switched out and went.
He's so tenacious, isn't he? Really tries.
He really tries, yeah. When he gets there and gets into a battle, I know he let the other horse upside, but he was never really getting by me in the end. I think he just kept his head down and kept galloping.
Ruth was saying that she was preparing herself for defeat because he had the penalty to carry from the Group 2 victory before. Obviously, you can't allow defeat to creep into your head as a jockey, but what do you think of this performance? I mean, it's even better in many ways, isn't it, than the Group 2 at Sandown?
I think it is now, yeah. I think it is. And on a stage like this is a competitive race. I think it was faster ground, which I know he does like a bit easier ground, so it was faster here and carrying a bit more weight. He stepped up again, really, on what he's done the last time.
Ruth was saying that immediately after the Bet365 mile, she had a look at how much it cost to supplement for the Queen Anne, the Group 1 at Royal Ascot, and was a bit taken aback. Do you think he'd be worthy of stepping into Group 1 company now?
He's probably deserved his right to run in a Group 1, and we just see how we go. We see if the right race comes up for him in a Group 1, it'd be great. I'm not sure of that calendar. I haven't ridden him many Group 1s, but I'd be delighted to ride him if he did. But, he's a superstar horse in my eyes already.
It was your first group success on him, wasn't it, at Sandown?
Sandown, yeah. My biggest success at Linkfield. Every time I ride him, it's been biggest race to date, so I'm just delighted to be on board. What
does he mean to you then, this horse?
Oh, he's definitely a big chapter in my life now. He's definitely stepped me from taking me out at Northern racing, and I'm on one of the biggest racing circuits in the world here and winning, so it's brilliant.
It's an incredible day, a lovely day to do it, isn't it?
Yeah, lovely day. Great crowd and that, and the atmosphere is really good.
I suspect there might be some more chapters to the book about you and Sovereign Debt, so best of luck for the rest of the season and congratulations.
Thanks very much. I hope you're right. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thank you.
The dash was at 3:45. Kimberella attracted a lot of support, ended up favourite at 6-1.
Boom the groom into stall 18, standing by for the Investec Corporate Banking Dash. A moment of madness, got an absolute flyer from the gate and gained at length at least on the field, chased by El Astronaut. Caspian Prince burning down the centre on the outside of these on the right as they race through the first furlong or so, chased on the outside by Majestic Hero, and then move in time behind these Desert Lord, chasing them with Bosun Fred in the yellow sleeves. In the orange cap then Line of Reason is handy. Kimberella under the rail. They're chased by Exceed the Limit and Accessible in a red cap. Olivia Olivia Fallow in a noseband against the rail from Edward Lewis, and Boom the Groom is well back, so too Dark Shot, and Sign of the Kodiak. Caspian Prince bidding for a third win just leads to A Moment of Madness. El Astronaut in third place, then Desert Law and Line of Reason chasing hard. Kimborough is running on, so too Duke of Varenzi on the near side. Is still Caspian Prince inside the final furlong. A Moment of Madness. Duke of Varenzi is gaining, so too Dark Shot from the rear, but Caspian Prince has won again. Caspian Prince holding on. Duke of Varenzi, Dark Shot finishing well near side, and also flashing home on the outside was Edward Lewis.
Caspian Prince, Tom Eves, 25-1. Dark Shot second, 10-1. Duke of Varenzi was third at 9-1, and A Moment of Madness at 8-1 was fourth. Non-runner 14 and 19 ran. Well, it's an amazing third win in this race for Caspian Prince, who overcame stall 1 and had to race down the centre, but he really deserved this and clung on to beat, first off, Duke of Varenzi, who came from well off the pace in his usual style, but the real high catcher was Dark Shot, who was tailed off virtually at halfway and stormed up the near side rail to grab second.
Well, it's not just 3 different trainers that Caspian Prince has won the dash for, it's 3 different jockeys as well. This time it's Tom Eves on board. When you saw the draw, you must have thought, oh no.
I said a bit more than that, yeah. But yeah, I was gutted when I seen the draw. Yeah, you know, Line of Reason did it. But yeah, it's definitely, you think it's against you, don't you? But that's the third time he's won here. He knows the track well, and yeah, he's a pleasure to ride. You know, really, I rode him in Dubai a bit and in Qatar, and he ran well over there. And fair play to Tom Collins and Tony Coyle and the team. They brought him back, give him a bit of break, freshen him up, and he had a run at Chester, drawn 10. We couldn't get into it there. And then last day, the ground was loose, but again we wanted to get a run into him, and this was the day of the aim for. So fair play to them when a plan comes together.
It's clearly a formula that works, isn't it? Coming off 3 times, it's quite a feat to win a race any race 3 times, but particularly one as competitive as this.
It's competitive from this, and like we said, from the draw as well. No, it's a great performance all round. Yeah, brilliant.
And it must be a thrill as well in the early stages, because he shows some pace early on to be able to lead those horses as readily as he does.
I don't know what the fractions were early on, but we were licking down that hill. But yeah, that's what he is. He's all about speed, and top of the ground like that, he loves it. And yeah, his record says it all, doesn't it?
In the dying stages, were you confident he had enough to hold on?
Yeah, well, after the gallop I thought there is going to be something running at me, like, but yeah, he's a willing partner, and like I said, he's a joy to ride.
Yeah, it's a lovely day today, isn't it, for the veterans? An 8-year-old, him winning, a Sovereign Debt as well. It's good to see these old boys in the winners' enclosure.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, and you know, Roof Carr having a winner down here, Tony Coyle and like myself and Jimmy and that coming down here, it's brilliant, yeah, brilliant.
Absolutely, it's really nice, and it's just a great day to see you here in the winners' enclosure. Really well done, Tom.
Yeah, thank you. Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers.
Well, the most open derby for years. In the end, Cracksman was a well-supported 7-2 favourite. Lots of money also for Dubai Thunder.
In the Anthony Oppenheimer colours, they're set to race, lined up, and they're off. Racing in the 2017 Investec Derby, Peeler was rather slowly away. Venice Beach amongst the leaders, with Best Solution and Douglas MacArthur going forward on the wide outside in the black sleeves, and now leads the way. Also going handy is the Anvil, followed by Peeler, and Cracksman is right there as well. Permian is handy as well. Rekindling towards the outside in the dark blue jacket, white cap, followed by Glencadam Glory. Khalidi is chasing the leaders, Dubai Thunder and a red cap towards the inside. as they get across the course now, and Douglas MacArthur leading the way by a couple of lengths to the Anvil in second. Then in third is Best Solution in the all blue jacket, Permian in the silver silks, followed out wide by Venice Beach. Wider is Crowned Eagle, Cracksman just nudged along there by Frankie Dettori. Dubai Thunder the inside of Rekindling, and the front two going off very quickly indeed. Capri is further back in the field. Douglas MacArthur and the Anvil have gone 8 to 10 lengths clear of the field as they head towards this long left-hand turn at the top of the racecourse. Venice Beach is third on the outside of Best Solution, then Permian and Cracksman and Crowned Eagle, followed by Rekindling, and then Dubai Thunder is further back behind these, followed by Eminent and Khalidi. Capri the grey on the outside just behind Rekindling. Glencadam Glory, Cliffs of Moher is well back with Saluen, and then Wings of Eagles, Peeler, and last of all is Ben Battle in the white cap, heading on the descent now towards Tatnam Corner. A furious pace in the Investec Derby being set by Douglas MacArthur and Colm O'Donoghue from the Anvil in second place. Behind these in third is Venice Beach, and then on the inside in the all blue Best Solution. Behind these Cracksman is being asked to stretch now, then Permian. Down the outside is Capri. They're homeward bound with 3.5 furlongs left to gallop. Douglas MacArthur is loose on the field, chased by the Anvil, Best Solution. Then Venice Beach. Cracksman begins to find his stride, now beginning into second place and eating into the leader's advantage. Permian, Capri out very wide, Cliffs of Moher, and then Eminent. They race down inside the final 2 furlongs. Douglas MacArthur is chased all the way by Frankie Dettori on Cracksman, and here comes Cliffs of Moher down the wide outside under Ryan Moore, and he goes on sweeping past both of them. Eminent battling on too, then Wings of Eagles, Cliffs of Moher, Wings of Eagles swooping though, and Wings of Eagles gets up to win. Wings of Eagles denies Cliffs of Moher and Cracksman fighting it out for second, and Eminent back in fourth.
Wings of Eagles, Porrig Beggy 40 to 1. Cliffs of Moher second at 5 to 1. Cracksman, the 7 to 2 favourite, was third. Non-runner 19 and 18 ran. What a fascinating renewal and a lethally strong pace. And it did play into the hands of those who were held up. Cliffs of Moher looked to have been brought with a winning run from the back by Ryan Moore, but just as he hit the front, his unconsidered stable companion Wings of Eagles came from even further behind to swoop for an unlikely but very much merited win. Cracksman did best of those chasing the pace and emerges with a great deal of credit, especially as he didn't really handle the course.
Aidan O'Brien has won the 2017 Investec Derby to follow up his Investec Coronation Cup success yesterday, and so close, of course, in the Investec Oaks. It was a surprise result to many of us Wings of Eagles. Aidan, was it to you?
Yeah, he'd been working very well. He had a lovely run in Chester. We thought he was a very nice horse last year, and Padraig gave him a brilliant ride. We were delighted with the horses, really. Delighted with Ryan's horse. Ryan's horse was a baby, and we were worried about that, and he just got there and just got tired. So really looking forward to him really the next day, and listen, couldn't be happier. Padraig gave the winner a brilliant ride.
He did, didn't he? And he was coming strong and late.
Oh yeah, brilliant ride. He's a world-class brilliant rider, really. Always has been, you know, and delighted for him.
And his first ride in the Derby to win it at the first go as well. He goes down in history.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Listen, he had him in a lovely rhythm down off of the hill and got him nice and balanced in the straight, and he really took off in the straight, didn't he?
Yeah, he really did. This horse looked a little inexperienced when he ran at Chester behind Venice Beach.
Yeah, I think he had 2 or 3 runs last year as a 2-year-old, and he went to France last year and ran a very good race. I remember Colin rode him and he said to me, "This is a very nice horse." So he went to Chester this year, had his run in the Vaz. Seamus rode him and ran a very good race, and was really liked him. Had been working very well since then, you know. So no, delighted, and like obviously, like I said, Ryan's horse, we were worried about him. He just about made it here, and we were lucky to get to run into him in Chester, and we knew whatever he was going to do today, he was going to improve on. So so he was vulnerable. But like, really look forward to him the next day too.
And that's because he came to hand late?
Yeah, it just took a little bit of time to get him there in the spring, and because of that we had to wait. But listen, obviously we had to have a run before the Derby, and if he hadn't ran Chester, he wouldn't have been here. But like, they obviously couldn't be happier with his run either.
So would you anticipate being able to run at least those two, the first and the second that you've trained in the Investec Derby, in the Irish Derby?
It's very possible, Liddy. The lads will decide what they want to do, but they definitely they could if the lads wanted to do that, I would imagine. But we'll have to see how they come out of the race first, I suppose.
And do you feel still instinctively that Cliffs of Moher might be the best of them in the long term?
Yeah, I'd imagine he is. He's the horse open to the most improvement. He was only a baby coming here. Ryan obviously nursed him as long as he could and produced him, and he just said felt the last half of furlong he was just tiring in his hand, and he couldn't do anything about it. He had to mind him at that stage, you know. But listen, give him a brilliant ride to get him to where he was, but he's probably the horse that the most improvement is in.
The day's gone a bit smoother than it did yesterday, hasn't it?
Thanks, Lydia. Exactly, yeah. Thank you very much.
Well, many congratulations. A fantastic Group 1 double for you over the 2 days. Well done, Aidan.
Thanks, Lydia. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Porrick Beggy has won the 2017 Investec Derby on Wings of Eagles. Many congratulations. How does that sound, first off?
It still hasn't sunk in yet, but it sounds very good. And it'll probably take a few days to sink in, but I'm very happy, obviously, yeah.
And when you were coming here today, what were you expecting? Obviously, you were riding for Aidan O'Brien, so you knew you must have had a squeak.
Yeah, exactly. We all flew over today, and all the riders, and we all knew there wasn't much between our horses, you know. And look, as you just said, I was riding an Aidan O'Brien's trained horse for a Derby. He's had this in mind probably since that horse was, this time last year, was probably in his mind. So they all came here. I knew they had a good prep runs, and it all came here healthy and well. And he is a master of training any type of horse, but obviously a Derby horse, so just to even ride for him was a privilege.
Give me an insight to what this horse is like.
He can be a little bit hot. Michael, who rides him out, fair play to him, does a good job. I mean, he's a big, strong colt. I forgot how I sat in him in February and March, and then I sat in him today, and he'd grown, and he let me know on the way to the start. But in fairness to him, he took it in well, and when I got down where we walked to the start, he chilled. So I was delighted. He was as quiet as when he was loading into the stalls. I wasn't sure if it was a good or a bad thing, but when I jumped out, the horse he went to sleep. He knew he was in a race. Some horses are clever than others. They know that the last half of the race is when they want to be running, so he went to sleep for me, and done his best work late. So. And
positionally, were you always happy with where you were?
I was going to be taking my time, and because he can be keen, you know, he's a free running horse, and I wanted cover, and I was 14, Ryan was 13. I says I'll follow Ryan, and I think Ryan maybe got a spot further back than what he wanted, but either way Ryan was second, so he got there with plenty of time, and I just happened to arrive late. I had a little bit of trouble, I think about 4.5 out, and Ryan got going then. I could see him getting going. He went out, and I got a run through, and then I got stopped. But I got my colt going again, probably a furlong out, and look, he flew. And I gave him 1 or 2 flicks. I wasn't sure. I haven't seen it, but he took off for the last furlong and hit the line very well. I knew I was going to get there, I'll put it that way.
Did you?
Yeah, I knew furlong out. I said, hold on, just keep going straight, says, because you could get there. And then I won a little snug in the air. I had momentum going to the line, you know.
And what's that flash across your mind like when you think, oh my God, I'm going to get there in the Derby?
I'm not too sure exactly when it was. I said it down there, but it was a good furlong out. It says I have a chance. And once I was on the back of one. Once I got out and got a clear run, he quickened straight away. You know, he found a gear for me, which it takes some doing after running that race. And I'd say 50 yards out, I knew I was going to win. I knew I was going to win. Bar something else come down the outside.
Yeah. Well, what kind of feeling is this? I mean, is this the race that you dreamt of winning?
Yes, of course. If I wasn't riding here today, I would have been sitting at home from 1 o'clock watching it on telly and glued to it, you know, which I've done every year since I was a young lad. And I remember, I've watched all the Guineas and all the likes of them, and I said, Kieran Fallon winning on Golan. Because the horse was bred in Ballymacall Stud, which is up the road from where I grew up. I remember there was a little word about that horse going to win and where I live. So I remember seeing him, and I said to my father, I said, I'd love a go at that, you know. So I went to the apprentice school after that, and look, it's happened.
That was race at the Curragh that you went to?
Yeah, the apprentice school. Yeah, I done the course there, and they were brilliant. And look, Ireland is very hard, so I went travelling and rode abroad, and I decided to come back home. And two good mates of mine, Chris Gagan and Michael Hussey, got me the job in Ballydoyle. So fair play to them boys too. You know, they got me in, and I don't know, it's 3 years ago now, so I won a derby.
It's incredible. Now, you were saying in the press conference that there have been ups and some downs. You went out to Australia. You did something when you were young, which you then have had to move on from. Explain what went on.
Yeah, I made a bad choice, and I gave a positive for a banned substance. And it caused me to get a ban, you know. And I was flying out there. I rode winners for Bart Cummins. I rode winners for Chris Waller. But once I got the ban and went through the procedures, the main thing was for me to get my licence back. And thankfully, when I went to Ballydoyle, I knew about my case, and Joseph had started training, and the two of them started firing me up on horses straight away. So from day one, they've tried to get me back going, you know. So.
And when something like that happens to you, presumably you've just got to think, well, I did that. Yeah. I've got to move on, and I've got to use my talent to go forward.
Exactly. And the hardest thing was speaking to my family and all about it, you know, because they were gutted, obviously. So I said it to my brother. I said, don't worry, this won't be the last you'll hear of me. So if you listen to Mike, there you go.
It's really good that you had this. It's such an important second chance at Aidan O'Brien's yard, isn't it?
Yeah. Aidan is a fair man, a very fair man, and look, he's brilliant with horses, but he's brilliant with people as well. You know, I have a lot to thank him for after today and other days. But look, it shows if you work and you're working for the right people, you'll get the chances. You know, and Aidan and all the owners and all the boys down there would have been something done roaring at the tellies back home. So it's great.
And presumably, once you got back to Wales, it was just a case of like, I'm going to prove myself here. I'm going to put my head down. I'm going to work hard. That I'm worth this second chance.
And Joseph had got his licence out, and Joseph and Aidan both gave me my first rides back. And it was a case of just, look, I wasn't race riding, but I'm still in Ballydoyle riding the best horses in the world every day. And Aidan, in fairness, was good. I rode work from the word go, which all jockeys want to do. We want to go fast. We don't want to go slow. So, like, I was riding the best bred 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds. And then you take an interest. You watch our horses racing, you know, not just at home. Every day you go home. Yesterday I was watching Highland Reel winning, you know, and I know the horse. So you get a buzz out of just sitting at home, and all the lads do. But look, a lot of them do the hard work. I was lucky. Look, I can ride a horse, I know that. And thankfully I got the chances, so I'm happy.
Put this race into context. You're getting a shake of the hand, which is absolutely deserved. Put this race into context for you in terms of your career and what you've achieved today.
Yeah, to me, this is the best horse. This is the best horse race in the world, and the track. Even when we were walking around there today, not that my hair was standing on my back, but I knew this was going to be a buzz. Whether I won, lost, or drew, whatever, you know. But it's look, I'm going to have a big picture of that winning line of me and the horse up on my house, so it's going to be something I look at for a long time.
You made history today. You've also made your family very proud, no doubt.
I will be proud.
Well done.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Epsom on Derby Day, there was a double for jockey James Doyle, which was completed by Soldier in Action and initiated by Laugh Aloud, who was really impressive in the Princess Elizabeth Stakes. The other Group 3 was taken by the magnificent Sovereign Debt. And then there was the Derby, a sixth success in the race for Aidan O'Brien, but not Cliffs of Moher. The unconsidered Wings of Eagles, a first ride in the race for Parrig Beggy, and a 40-1 shocker. No fluke about it, though, and the time was excellent, nearly a second and a half inside the standard. The other horse to dip under standard was Laugh Aloud in the 2:35.